receive greetings from our studio. You're welcome to Prime News on My Major Prime live from Douala, the economic capital of the country. My name is Kienda Peldrigne Blanche King. 3 persons have been confirmed dead following a fatal road accident recorded in the wee hours of today, Thursday, July 8th, 2021 around the New Vuri Bridge in Bonaberi, Douala. According to sources, the cause of this accident is overspeeding and reckless driving. Details in the full report. It was unfortunate close to 7 victims of the accident which took place around New Vuri Bridge in Bonaberi, Douala. According to hand information, it was about 4 a.m. this Thursday morning when the driver of this RAV4 invaded the wrong lane. This gave way for a head-on collision with an incoming taxi passengers on board. Reports say the driver of the RAV4 was drunk and driving towards Bonaberi using the wrong lane. A total of 4 individuals, including the driver, inside the RAV4 vehicle at the time of the accident. The state of the vehicles suggests the cars violently clashed, directly affecting mostly the passengers in the taxi. The most affected at the time were rushed to the hospital by passers-by and the rescue team, while the driver took off almost immediately for fear of jungle justice. 3 people have been confirmed dead so far, while 4 others are in critical condition at the Lakantini Hospital. 3 families will be mourning their deaths, while for the families are praying for a miracle. These are attributed overspeeding. The accident adds up to the numerous events that have been recorded recently on major roads in the country. Individuals have been called to be careful while on the road, respecting all road safety measures to avoid accident-related deaths. Some unsatisfied teachers staged a peaceful protest in Douala yesterday, demanding their full pay after marking the first school leaving certificate. According to these disgruntled teachers, they have not been paid what was promised them, and a reporter gathered the following.
These are disgruntled teachers who stormed the regional delegation of basic education at Bonanjo Douala on July 7, 2021. The teachers, after marking the first school leaving certificate examinations, have not received their payments. This has pushed them to go the extra mile to demand their rightful benefit. Right, the fact the amount of money they are entitled to after marking the scripts is being while the workload is diminished.
Every year, the money for marking is going down and going down. I'm saying it with very heavy heart. And I never, some of this TV station just met me on the way. I was interviewing me. Because last year we marked more people and they paid 27 times. But this year, the people are few, the scripts have added and they have paid 23,850.
The teachers say despite the ongoing conflict in some parts of the country, where teachers have repeatedly come under attacks and brutal killings, teaching still remains a noble profession. The teachers constantly make sacrifices, imparting knowledge in order to build a better society. They therefore expect the government to ameliorate their situation as teachers.
We are teachers, and I believe that we are doing a noble profession. If it's a noble, then I believe that they should really respect our profession. I'm not happy at all. So, actually to do something about
the unhappy teacher package they get as teachers. The very least they expect is to receive their complete payment at the end of the marking to help them meet with their daily upkeep and family responsibilities. But sadly, this is not the case, as the teachers go back home almost empty-handed after the marking exercise.
Nora Kakebi ending deliberations at the June 2021 plenary session at the lower and upper houses of Parliament have come to an end with the
establishing the African Medicine Agency, giving Senate President Marcel Nyat-Njifenji the floor to mention the COVID-19 situation of Cameroon during this closing ceremony by reminding Cameroonians of the importance of getting vaccinated with the COVID-19 vaccines. Talking about the country's external debts, Senate President Marcel also urged Cameroonians to remain subtle with the assurance that the country's external debts remain sustainable till date, especially with regards to the increase in passport prices from 75,000 francs CFA to now 110,000 francs CFA. While applauding government's efforts in tackling the crisis in the 2 English-speaking regions of the country, the Senate President also wrapped up the plenary sessions at the upper house of Parliament with the decoration of some assiduous senators and staff.
The President of the Republic recognized these services and decided to give me this medal, and I can thank him very much.
Moving down to the National Assembly, House Speaker Kavaye Gijibril also laid emphasis on the fight against COVID-19, terming it a collective responsibility. Before closing the June 2021 legislative year, a total of 7 bills have also been adopted, with special plenary sessions focusing on the water and energy deficits, land reforms, and the universal health coverage, with both state authorities and the lawmakers urged to handle their responsibilities. And in recognition of their services rendered to the state, 7 lawmakers received distinctions as reward of valor.
The chancellery of our orders is now going on the good path, not expecting people to ask, but designating people and recognizing them.
It's a reward for hard work and commitment, and it gives us more motivation to do more.
On the part of the lawmakers, the 30 hectic days to legislate and effectively control government's actions have not been easy.
The control of government actions was so serious. The Minister of Water and Energy was taken into tax. The Minister of Land Tenure.
Preparation for the budget in November. I think that we have given our views, and we are hoping that when we come in November, we will be able to see some of the things.
But to others, the macroeconomic outlook debated on was quite fulfilling.
They give us the opportunity to give our own ideas on what we think the budget is supposed to be orientated.
I'm satisfied with the quality of the debate, the orientation that should take in consideration the population demands.
Meanwhile, the gross projection of 44% and priority programs were equally questioned.
So when you take the situation of the Northwest and Southwest, we are giving the credits, but the projects are not executed. Why? Because of the situation we know.
You cannot announce to us that you have defined the priorities, but you present us a document with hundreds of projects. It is not realistic.
With the curtains having been drawn for the June 2021 plenary session, now it is time for parliamentary accounts in local constituencies, as Cameroonians hope that the enlarged inputs made during this session would likely influence developmental projects in the country.
The population of Nkongsamba in Mongo Division, littoral region of the country, have been encouraged to get vaccinated against the COVID-19 pandemic. This call was made recently during the launch of the second phase of vaccination, which kicked off yesterday in all parts of the country. Fon Quinta tells us more in the following report.
Officials of Nkongsamba, Mongo Division, littoral region of Cameroon, taking their second doses of the COVID-19 vaccine during the official launch of the second vaccination campaign against coronavirus that officially kicked off throughout the national territory, Wednesday, July 7th, 2021.
The new campaign was launched by the government of Cameroon through the Ministry of Public Health. Cameroon began vaccination on April 12, and today marks the beginning of a new phase. This phase concerns all Cameroonians aged 18 and above. Unlike the first campaign that was for medical personnel, the aging, and those with medical conditions.
Cette extension de la vaccination va dans le sens de ce que le gouvernement.
Today, it is for everybody. Government of Cameroon sees vaccination as the first measure to fight COVID-19.
Voilà l'essentiel de la mesure pour lutter contre la COVID.
Municipal, traditional and health personnel met at the community hall in Nkongsamba with the director of the Nkongsamba Regional Hospital emphasizing on the need of being vaccinated, especially at the time the country is at the second phase of infection. The second phase of the campaign was launched with community agents of the extended immunization program in charge of the campaign drilled on how to effectively sensitize the population on the need to take the jab. The launching of the second phase of the vaccination campaign against coronavirus in Nkongsamba falls in line with a 5-day intensive vaccination campaign across the national territory with the objective to inoculate Cameroonians aged 18 and above.
The Public Independent Conciliator for the Southwest region has been commissioned into office. She has been called to diligently discharge her duties with diplomacy, fairness, and truth. Her oath-taking ceremony took place recently at the Court of Appeal in Boya, Southwest region of the country. Clarice Ekowe in the following report.
Presented reveals her competence.
The pioneer public independent conciliator for the Southwest region of Cameroon have been commissioned into office. This was during this oath-taking ceremony that took place at the Southwest Court of Appeal, attended by the Southwest Governor Bernard Okala-Belai among other top officials. Madame Teleleng Dorothy Atambong, a post-Wotaze, took an oath of service.
Do solemnly swear that I will loyally and faithfully execute with probity, impartiality and independence the duties of public independence conciliator entrusted to me.
Being the first to occupy this office that was created after the major national dialogue, the function of the pioneer public independent conciliator for the Southwest region, as elaborated by the first deputy president, Justice Helen, will be to promote the content of the special status given to the Southwest and Northwest region. Hence, this pioneer public independent conciliator is expected to amicably settle disputes between abuse service users and decentralized public bodies in the Southwest region, such as councils, while ensuring the reduction in the complaint against corruption, favoritism, and discrimination, a call to which this 61-year-old educationist say she comes well prepared.
It's true that the times are really not the best, but I know I'm going to bring in that touch which a mother usually brings to the whole situation, because we know how to pamper and we know how to bring our children, our brothers, our husbands to reason. The region should expect an open door policy.
It is expected that through the office of the Public Independent Conciliator for the Southwest region, calm, serenity, and social justice will be attained within the Southwest region and the content of the special status enhanced.
The National Agency for Information and Technology has drilled stakeholders on the protection of data in the country. The 3-day seminar comes after statistics from findings carried out by the agency revealed the vulnerability of those using cyberspace in the country. Details with Kumano Rainbow.
Statistics carried out by the National Agency for Information and Technologies, with the acronym ANTIC, shows that the increasing use of information and communication platforms such as Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, telephones, emails, among other internet communication outlets, increases the vulnerability of both companies and personal data to cyber criminals. Studies carried out by ANTIC in 2019 indicates a total of 68,000 vulnerabilities in some companies' cyber system and personal data. ANTIC also discovered that over 4,242 fake Facebook accounts exist, which scammers and other cyber criminals use to dupe people who fall prey to their gimmicks. It is against this setback that the National Agency for Information and Communication Technologies organized a 3-day workshop to strengthen the capacities of stakeholders in the effective use of information communication technology, with emphasis in data security for the emergence of Cameroon. The workshop, which took place on the theme Privacy and Data, Privacy in the Digital Era, Challenges, Opportunities, and Trend in Cameroon, saw the participation of stakeholders from all the telecommunication companies, public and private companies, councils, startup initiative groups, just to mention but these few. Addressing participants during the launching ceremony, the Director General of Antique, Professor Ebot Enau, noted that if Cameroon has to effectively emerge, then much has to be done to ensure the protection of personal data and company data from the reach of cyber criminals such as hackers and scammers. He added that the more personal information is processed and stored in cyberspaces, the more organizations are expected to ensure effective implementation of cybersecurity measures that guarantee private protection.
Some of the best practices is, first of all, you have to locate where your data is. You need to carry out the risk assessment on that data. That risk assessment, you identify all the risks that are associated to the data, means identify the threats, identify the vulnerabilities. Once you've done that, you carry out the risk assessment. Once the risk assessment has been done, you do what you call risk mitigation. That means that you prioritize the risk and try to treat the risk.
The platform brought together a number of resource persons who drilled participants on how best they could ensure the security of the cyberspace, as well as ensuring that the privacy protection is a guiding principle in cybersecurity. Justice Theophilus Tatsi of the Southwest Appeal Court Boya presented on law and policies affecting privacy and personal protection, while Mr. Njechek of Antique drilled participants on data protection and auditing.
Eileen Sama has African news in the following report.
A Nigerian man, Dr. Chukwudi Elewuzi, has made Africa proud at a foreign university as he finished with a perfect cumulative grade point average. The Nigerian medical student breaks 133-year-old record as he graduates from Siberian State Medical University, Tomsk, Russia, with 5.0 on 5.0 CGPA. His perfect cumulative grade point average of 5 is the talk of the day in his home country, Nigeria, where Punch and Legit reports say that he had twice been denied admission into a Nigerian university. Still in Nigeria, parents of abducted school children of the Bethel Baptist High School continue to wait for news on their children in Damashi, Kaduna, following Monday's abduction of dozens of students by suspected bandits who stormed the school campus around 2 a.m. in Shikon local government area in Kaduna State, northern Nigeria. Some weeping mothers pleaded for help from Kaduna State Governor Nasi Ahmed El-Rufai. 2 security guards lost their lives while battling the kidnappers who took away 121 Nigerian students, said Kaduna's governor. According to Reverend Ishaya Jangado, head of the Kaduna Baptist Conference who manages the school, the kidnappers had contacted him and he said he was allowed to talk with some students who confirmed that they were fine. In Mozambique, reports of forced prostitution in a women's prison in the capital Maputo has been confirmed by an official inquiry. A commission of inquiry was set up by the government in June 2021 to investigate cases of sexual abuse and exploitation. According to Elisa Samuel, who wrote up the findings, many cases of the abuses were carried out by the prison wardens, whom in other cases enabled the rape of certain inmates. She added that in other cases, they demanded sex in exchange of food, drugs, or promises of differentiated treatment. The report also pointed that the majority of prisoners became pregnant and were forced to have an abortion using hospital services of nurses assigned to the prison. South Africa's former president, Jacob Zuma, has handed himself in to police to begin serving a 15-month jail sentence for contempt of court. He was admitted to Escort Correctional Center in his home province of KwaZulu-Natal on Wednesday. Police had warned that they were prepared to arrest him if he did not hand himself in by midnight. It is worth recalling that the 79-year-old Zuma was handed the jail term last week after he failed to attend a corruption inquiry.
We stay out of the country to talk about the last journey of Nigerian prophet Temitope Balogun Joshua. Thousands turned up earlier today to pay their last respects to late Nigerian prophet TB Joshua. The ongoing ceremony is one of many others held in honor of the prophet since his demise on June 5, 2021. He will be laid to rest tomorrow, Friday, July 9, 2021. Popularly known for his philanthropic gestures, selflessness, and miracles, Prophet TB Joshua leaves behind family, friends, millions of fans and supporters to mourn him and celebrate his works. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's edition of Prime News. Thanks for being with us. See you tomorrow at 6:30 for another edition of Prime News. Faith Tataberonyo coordinated the news, produced by EWANE Airline NOLINGA. My name is Peldraine BLANCHE. At 7 p.m., a new edition of Prime Hour will be yours. Enjoy today's edition. Happy viewing and good night.